It's Setup Monday here in the US of states on this Labor Day. Let's take a look at some coins. Got a lot of charts today. More of a rotation discussion. If you want to min-max your bags, your capital, depending on how aggro you want to be, how passive you want to be. If you want to be a mixture of things, it feels like we're both early and late cycle-wise. Feels like we're late into a bullish reversal and early into a bullish trend, which is crazy to think. Where most of these coins are at all-time, well, not most, but several of them are at all-time highs. BTC and ETH popping off, obviously. BTC up 10% over the past 7 days. ETH 22% past 7 days. Solana, big week, 42%. Filecoin 52% over the past week. AVAX 13. Just, everything, right? Everything's popping off. Link 40% over the past week. Bitcoin dominance nearing all-time lows, even though it's a stupid metric anyway. We're approaching the point where you probably should be FOMOing responsibly if you're FOMOing into anything at all. If anything, if I was holding Solana from $3, which I'm not, I would certainly be happy to start to DCA out of that position slightly, right? Like, use some common sense here. Some of this stuff is up a ridiculous amount just in the past week, let alone from the bottom. Tezos up big, Stellar, Ripple, LTC 30%. All this stuff is just ripping, right? So obviously the question is, does this stuff keep ripping another 2x, or does it chill out a little bit? Does it go sideways? Does it go down? Does it go down a lot? Does it go down a little? These are all important questions, obviously. And I think when you're min-maxing rotation-wise through all this stuff, you just have to do it agnostically. Is that right? FTT 61% over the past week, right? So you have to probably do this agnostically, even though, you might be a Sam fanboy, might be a Solana boy, summer boy, but use some common sense, DeFi perp looks great. It is above the cloud along with everything else. I think DeFi is poised to do well, not just because of the fund on Enzyme, but a lot of these DeFi charts look really good. It's above the previous consolidation range as well. Survived the potential 50% off sale at 5K. It was headed to 2,500 if this didn't reverse in some way, and it did. So now we're above the cloud, above the 200. Everything's great, right? We're about to have a bullish cloud here over the next couple days above VPVR resistance. All that stuff looks great. Comp. Still, I like my targets for comp. 650, 750, somewhere there. Invert head and shoulders, ascending triangle, whatever that is. It looks good. Just needs some volume here. So I like that over the next week, but it may take a month. I don't know. I still think it looks fine. SNX finally, slowly starting to break up again. Ascending triangle, Adam and Eve, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter to me. It looks bullish. Looks like it's headed to 18 to 21 to me. Solana, as far as a top is concerned, so you can't really look at too much data, right? It hasn't been around that long. It's benefited from crazy bull market in early 2021. A lot of these charts looked extremely similar in May, June, July when you had this triple bottom inverted head and shoulders thing. Obviously, some of these exploded from that reversal more so than others, Solana being one of them. So if we just look at the 12-hour 365, which is actually the 183. So this is the 183 daily MA. This is the half-year MA. All I'm looking for here is curve fitting. I'm backtesting. What does it look like on 365, 183, 730? You can't look at because there isn't 2 years of data to even compare. So on the 183 buy zone, sell zone was up here, but it rode this for 3-4 months, right? This may, continue to do something similar from now till the end of the year, right? I think the end of the year is going to be down city across the board, like it has been kind of everywhere for the most part, partially for taxes, partially for seasonality. I think everything's going to sell off in Q1 like it usually does. So I'm not expecting miracles throughout Q1, but until we get there, this thing can just, cruise, right? Now, alternatively, if this thing pops to like 350, that's probably a pretty good sell sign, right? But as it stands now, this probably has a little bit more upside left. On the daily, the chart looks insane on the candles. I would love for all this stuff to cool down. It's just an easier buy for me. It's easier for me to FOMO bid than to FOMO market buy at all-time highs, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one there. FTM as well. Like, this is a hysterical chart. It's gone from 25 cents to $1.43 in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I mean, what? What is this? What is this nonsense? yeah, so, at some point, right, should you be adding to this, like, realistically, or should you be adding to this chart? Even if it goes to 3, right? I don't know. I guess it's risk reward. I guess it's leverage, whatever else your individual trading considerations are. But this isn't for me. It wasn't for me at 91 cents, let alone up here. This thing just looks like it's going to Eiffel Tower back to 50 cents. I don't know. But if you've made money on this, awesome. Just to me, rotating into other stuff, even though it may not have a future, maybe FTM is the future, right? Maybe LTC isn't the future. Maybe Stellar isn't the future. But to me, those things look potentially like a better thing to rotate into, right? If you're going to take profits, partial profits on FTM, rotate it into something that hasn't moved yet. It's just that simple. I think that's what many people do intuitively anyway. FTT as well, like I already said, up 60 something percent over the past week. This probably reaches for 100 eventually. I don't know how quickly that happens, but again, the question is, would you rather be buying here at all-time highs, or would you rather be buying some pullback bid? I don't know, right? Like, how much more does this have left in it is a question you need to ask yourself. Something else to typically watch for is consolidation periods. So this was a longer consolidation period than a couple days ago, and it probably won't be any more consolidation periods. This thing probably just explodes somewhere, and then Eiffel Tower's back down to 50, 60 would be my guess. Basically previous all-time high. But what if I'm wrong, right? What if this goes to 200, Like, what do you do, right? As long as you have a plan, if this thing pops above 100, Serum looks the same, right? As long as you have a plan when this thing pops above 1150, what does it matter, If it were me, I would be rotating stuff out of FTT, out of FTM, into other stuff, Serum. BNB, even questionable as a buy because of the fundamentals of the exchange and the legal and regulatory stuff going on with Binance, but it looks like everything else did pre-breakout. It looks like BTC pre-breakout, looks like FTT pre-breakout, it looks like FTM pre-breakout, it looks like everything, right? So this thing, based on the cycle, based on where it sits rotation-wise, could easily retest all-time highs if the regulators don't kill it first. AVEX, another one, up a ridiculous percentage over the past couple weeks. Consolidating here, this probably is another go, right? As long as we stay bullish across the board, people are just going to keep rotating profits around. People are going to be FOMOing and other stuff, right? But the market needs to stay bullish collectively in order for stuff that's already up 10x from the bottom to have another leg over the next week. Ripple, similar. Again, I think Ripple's worthless, but technicals say, hey, this is pretty good buy here. Tapping me on the shoulder, Mr. Cloud. Hey, Mr. Cloud, Pope, Josh, Guy. This looks good for bullish continuation. This was a triangular consolidation. Now it broke up above the cloud. Now you're going to get a bullish Kumo twist. That looks good. Stellar, very similar in that it looks like bullish continuation to 50 cents, whatever this flat Kumo is. I bought some around 34 cents down here the other day because I can't buy Ripple, and this looked just as good, right? BTC, the Big Mac Daddy, also has a bullish Kumo twist. It had just a continuous weirdness of consolidation, very volatile, very murky, arguably stood bullish the entire time, but was not definitively going to hold at this level. I think the entire market helped lift BTC, certainly, as people are rotating from all of these so maybe not have a future alts to stuff that's probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon, like BTC and ETH. It doesn't mean you don't have the same concerns, or I don't have the same concerns with a TKC clamp here growing, the potential that this thing has a nasty pullback to 42, right? It's not off the table just because everything is bullish. The trend is bullish. It says we've canceled out everything from 55 to 30. All that is ancient history. We're bullish once again on the cloud. We've only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullish Kumo twists since 2016. I'm counting this as 2016, even though it was November, and I'm not going to count this, but it didn't matter. That was also continuation. Of the 5, only 1 has performed poorly. So, you do the math, you backtest that. You ask me why I use the settings I use. You can look at the 12-hour, you can look at the daily single. I don't care, right? I do the same as well. But what this tells me is this is a big deal. This is a big freaking deal for bullishness throughout the rest of the year until this remains above the cloud. Is it going to collapse under its own weight? Maybe, but historically these trend shifts have done extremely well for BTC. ETH as well, bullish Kumo twist. Again, it consolidated, broke up. The difference with the consolidations on BTC is they were just a hot mess relative to ETH and some of these others, which were more flag-like, I guess. I don't know. But even still, ETH was threatening this M double top thing, and it lifted off anyway. So where can ETH go from here? Well, obviously everyone's looking at all-time highs. Everyone's looking past all-time highs. 1618 to measured move would be between 56 and 65. I don't know if that happens in September, but I can easily see that by the end of the year, certainly. Again, though, this does have a TKC clamp, and I would love for all of the late FOMO longers to get completely wrecked up here, and this retraced to like 3K, right? This retraced to 3K, then you're bidding on people's misery and capitulation and poor trading ability, and you're being rewarded for being being a non-FOMO trader. That's what I'd love to see. Will that happen? I don't know, but I would love to see this stuff chill out a little bit. This could even cup and handle, right? I mean, that's maybe best case, because then you have a pattern on your side. If we cup and handle this to 3K and then retest all-time highs from there. But I think 65 by the end of the year is pretty easy call, quote unquote. Link on the 3-day back into the cloud, or back into the pitchfork. I like 70 EOY, which is still a 2x from here. I mean, it's up 40% in a week. RSI on the 3-day isn't yet massively overbought, and it's nowhere near, the top end of this. This thing is, I think, a pretty easy 2x by the end of the year. If it potentially 3x's or more, that would be overperforming, but not unlikely based on the pitchfork. So I just, if you're holding this or watching it, it still looks good. It had a nasty sell-off. One of the deeper sell-offs of everything, really, from those highs. And now it's finding some life once again. A lot of these alt BTC charts, by the way, including Link, are starting to break out. Doge hasn't yet broken out. I mentioned this on some video last week, I think. I would watch for bullish Kumo breakout. I'd watch for what is Robinhood up to? What is GME and AMC up to into the end of the year? A lot of unemployment benefits are ending very soon, and that may affect meme stonks, may affect meme coins like Doge. But if this behaves like every other altcoin, then this thing could see 700 plus sats again by the end of the year. LTC BTC already broke out of a very similar type of pattern. It had not only an inverted head and shoulders here, but a macro, uglier inverted head and shoulders pretty clearly broke up. You get the volume confirmation as well. And it's always good to see volume just flatline dead, and then all of a sudden it breaks out with the pattern, right? But that's okay. TA doesn't work. EOS, I think EOS is fundamentally worth 0, much like Ripple, and it looks good on a technical basis, just like LTC did for some sort of inverted head and shoulders move to the upside. Are all these going to break out? Probably not, but is it worth rotating on some of this stuff if you have the ability to trade it? Again, this goes back to how aggressive do you want to be? How passive do you want to be? How agnostic do you want to be on all this stuff? A lot of people don't even have the ability to trade this in the US, so it is what it is. But this on technicals looks phenomenal to me. ADA looks like junk to me at the highs here. It's had a ton of bullishness leading into the quote-unquote smart contract and or NFT shenanigans. Volume's been declining. RSI has been declining. None of this really makes sense to me at all. But, the ADA maxis can disagree with me all they want and say I've been wrong since 800 sats. That's fine. But if you're agnostic about profits and rotating, this is not something I'd want to sit in. Hold your initial position, forget about it, come back to it in 2 years, see if ADA has actually done anything. I don't know. But I would aggressively be rotating out of stuff like this. If anything, you could argue third drive on the upside here, and RSI supports that, volume supports that, like I already said, as far as rotating out of stuff that looks like this. It is up from 200 sats-ish, we'll say 400 sats, to 5,500 sats over the past 9 months. So it's done incredibly well, and it's just a probability game. Does this have another 2x in it over anything else? Would you rather buy this or add to this at a pullback or here? Those are all questions you have to ask your inner self. ETH BTC looks good to me as well. Bullish cloud, bullish TK cross, bullish everything here. This could also cup and handle for higher highs to 0.1 and beyond. This looks great to me. You know, I don't trade this pair directly, but I do trade it indirectly on Enzyme, a non-custodial portfolio management tool where you can send ETH or USDC or just watch what I'm doing. You can see everything, including AUM performance allocations. You can see I'm in 18% BTC, 33% ETH here with 48% ammo in the form of USDC. And again, I'd love for this stuff to chill out a bit. Let me buy it. It's so hard to actually buy this with 2 million USD at highs because I just can't get liquidity. If I buy more than 500K at a time in a clip, then it gives me over 2% slippage. And it's just, you know, that's not cool, dog. So it's much easier to buy this, to bid this on DeFi in this size when stuff's actually pulling back and I have liquidity to do that. You can also see all the trades I make down here when I'm moving into stuff, when I'm swapping things, when I'm getting out of DAI, for example, buying stuff with that. There also is a DeFi portfolio where you can see everything that I'm trading here, along with daily change, allocation, all that fun stuff, all of the yield plays I'm making as well. So that's all for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. Happy trading.